Okay, good morning. Can you hear me now, please? And if you're just joining now, and please tell me if you can hear me. We had a big issue with that. So if you're watching, please comment if you can hear me. Okay? And I will be also checking Twitter to see if you can hear me there. Um, let's see. Let's see. Okay. All right. Can anybody hear me? Whoever is watching, whether it's on Twitter, whether it is anywhere, please let me know if you can hear me. All right. So I can check. You're the only one, Rosie. Okay. Can you hear me? Yes, you can. Okay, great. Thank you, Rosie Marie. Yes, Sarah, Rosie Marie is coming with the good news. Thank you. You know what happened? This is what I was telling you, what you couldn't hear. So I'm from 8:30 a.m. on. I'm on a conference call about the Medicare and Medicaid and how they can withstand the Doge situation. And so since I'm stepping out of it and I'm going live, I press record on that conference so I'm not missing out anything. And that's where the audio went. So it's me. I'm the drama. I'm the trouble. It's me, right? To quote Taylor Swift. So again, thank you so much for being here. Well, the drama woke everybody up. So good morning. This is AM Actual News. I do have 13 news stories for you. And what I wanted to explain, what I was actually explaining is that today we have the 2 hour conference on Medicare, Medicaid, and then from 9:30 on, we have the 10:30 on. We have a briefing by the White House about Syria and everything that's happening there, and also have the latest updates on that as well. So, oh, Brandon, thank you. Good to hear. Oh, thank you. Good to hear that you guys can hear me. Yeah, this is fantastic. Well, Sarah, good morning. I found out Sarah is in Spain, right? That's what I was reading in the comments previously. So, hello to Spain. Good morning, Rosie Marie. Thank you for the good news. You were first to break it. Yash, good morning. Thank you so much for being here. I hope Lisa finds her way too because she was very active in the previous chat. So, anyway, let's start with the news. All good. No panic on Titanic. All right. So, first good news is that the US Senate has yesterday confirmed President Joe Biden's nomination of Tiffany Renee Johnson as a U.S. District Judge for the Northern District of Georgia. And the vote went 48 to 44. And so this marks the 230th judge confirmed under President Biden. Certainly a good achievement. I think we have over 40 judges to be still confirmed and nominated. So let's hope we can get somewhere. Okay. Other story was that this morning around 5 a.m. we got a statement or fact check or fact sheet from VP Harris on the highlights of the Chips and Science Act and the investments in Micron technology. And so here's a read up. Vice President Kamala Harris praised the Chips and Science Act for driving historic investments in U.S. semiconductor manufacturing. Micron Technology, the nation's sole memory chip maker, will receive over $6.1 billion to build advanced memory chip facilities in New York and Idaho. This investment is part of Micron's $125 billion plan, which aims to create 20,000 jobs and increase the U.S. share of advanced memory manufacturing to 10% over the next decade. The vice president also emphasized the project's positive impact on local economies and workers, noting the use of project labor agreements and apprenticeship programs. The investments are seen as crucial for national security, economic growth, and reducing reliance on foreign supply chains. So, yes, and also China did react to that. And I have this today in the news to read out next. But before that, we've heard from Vice President Harris. Yesterday we saw her speak. Now, this is the alternative that United States chose. Here are some weird tweets. So, tweet number one, Trump continues at this point to harass. Let's not see it as a joke. It's not a joke by far. To harass Justin Trudeau, who's Prime Minister of Canada. Canada also being very much related to the UK, right? Hint, hint. He says it was a pleasure to have dinner the other night with Governor Justin Trudeau of the great state of Canada. I look forward to seeing the governor again soon so that we may continue our in-depth talks on tariffs and trade. First of all, the dinner was a week ago. Why are you going there? What are you doing? Who gave you this joke? Kind of sounds like a joke that Elon would make. And probably he kind of whispered it in his ear or in the ear of whoever types up those tweets or truth. Anyway, continued. This just makes no sense. The Democrats are fighting hard to get rid of the popular vote in future elections. They want all future presidential elections to be based exclusively on the Electoral College. Honey bunny boo boo, weren't you the one who profited from this notion? So again, gaslighting 101 or 102, I don't know where we're at this point. And then his son, Donald Jr., compared Zelensky, the leader of Ukraine, third year in survival mode and fighting brutal Russia's aggression by Russia, to this, little boy in, in Home Alone. Ridiculous. And then, of course, Musk had to comment, hee, ha, ha, ha. That's very pretty, beautiful. Okay, so this was the current, incoming administration. So back to news. Now, suspected murderer of United Healthcare CEO arrested in Pennsylvania. Luigi Mangione is 26-year-old Ivy League graduate from wealthy real estate family. He has been arrested in Altoona, Pennsylvania, after being recognized at a McDonald's by an employee who saw his photo in the media. Mangione is accused of the murder of the United Healthcare CEO, with authorities discovering him and possession of a gun, the silencer, a 3-page manifesto, and multiple fake IDs, including the one he used to book New York City hostel. He was arraigned on 5 charges, including false identity and possessing instruments of crime. According to court records, Mangione has also been charged with murder in Manhattan. And I see, this is, I honestly, I have no other words rather than stupidity. The guy murdered a CEO. Okay, you may not agree, and I may not agree or support the healthcare insurance. I may think that all of them are assholes. You might think that all of them are assholes. But to say that this guy made a mistake, and he is so educated, and he is so pretty, and he has a 6-pack, and people are now raising money to save him. Meanwhile, the guy's from a very wealthy MAGA family. His social media was filled with Elon Musk stuff, with, quoting all this type of, Hitler stuff. It's a MAGA guy from a MAGA, very sort of well-known family that is in real estate. They also have nursing homes. They also deal with health insurances. Allegedly, he had a operation on his spine, and since then he was a changed man. But this guy is a murderer. Regardless how pretty he is, it's not a mistake. Assassinating somebody with bullets in the spine, in the back, this is not cool. It's not funny. It's not funny. It's not cool. Maybe jokes that he's pretty, fine. But this is not okay. And it went really far to the point where NYPD claimed that people were not reporting him because they wanted to protect him. So, continuation of Sopranos, right? And Shapiro went on TV yesterday and condemned all these people calling murder a hero. Brandon, thank you so much. Yes, that's exactly what I saw. Yeah. Alexander, good morning. Good morning. Is it a continuation of Sopranos? Yeah, it looks like it, right? The guy's pretty and yeah. Lisa, other than you, I haven't seen a reported anywhere that he's MAGA. Well, that's damn shame. Well, if it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. He quoted everything about Musk. He quoted everything about election and everything. And his family is a very Republican family where his uncle is actually a representative, so is in politics. So, yeah. Wasn't there a lookalike contest for money in New York City? Yeah, in New York City, we might be cool, but we also dumb as hell. So I don't know what this is, but let's not entertain this as being something to laugh at or consider being a joke. No. If we start assassinating people who we not agree with, we are on a very interesting path. Sarah says he followed Elon, Ben Shapiro, Rogan. Exactly, yeah, and he quoted them. Sarah, to your point. Yeah. Okay. And by the way, also on Twitter, he had 500 followers, and then they announced that it's him who killed the guy, and he immediately got 102,000 followers. And then Elon removed his account. Then people started getting thirsty over his Instagram. Then Instagram deleted his account, but people saved it. It's all over. Facebook people are raising money. I saw it this morning to get him out because he's now a hero, and just freaking insane, Yeah, Alexandria Shapiro announced that his wife is more beautiful than Taylor Swift because he's younger. What a clown. Yeah, well, back to news. Syria. So Syria's government is entering the post-Assad era, right? Post-regime overthrow. Again, regime was brutal, cold-blooded. Syrian people are liberated after 50 plus years of the regime. 13 years in particular are under this Assad guy who was literally putting kids and moms and innocent people in jails and bunkers, and so who used chemical weapons against his own citizens. It's just complete insanity. So yes, we are celebrating with Syria. But what we are reviewing is what is next, right? Because when something is overthrown and there is no leader, right, or different groups that want to be a leader, then it becomes a question. Now, HTC, those rebels, right, who were heavily supported by Turkey, HTC has been recognized as a terrorist organization in 2020 by Russia, and in 2012 by United States and Europe. So it's overall recognized as a terrorist organization. Now they are building officially the government. So Syria's prime minister, previous regime, has stated that the government is still operational following the fall of Assad regime, but the United Nations reports that the public sector in the country has just come to complete and abrupt halt, severely hindering humanitarian aid efforts. Meanwhile, Israel has seized land on the Syrian side of the Golan Heights, a move Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu described as a temporary measure to create a buffer zone. And now here comes the interesting quote. In a television appearance on Monday, Netanyahu declared, quote, "We extend our hand to those who want to live with us in peace, and we will cut off the hand of anyone who tries to harm us," unquote. So, at this point, okay, well, they certainly shared the border. So this not in their interest to share the border, for instance, with a nation led by Al-Qaeda or ISIS, right? So for this reason, they tried to intervene, to be just asked at least to have a voice in decision on who ultimately will end up leading Syria and how this new regime will look like. Right now, Israel conducted strikes overnight, destroying chemical weapons development center in Damascus, which is huge. Right, in over 300 targeted strikes during the past 24 hours, Israel destroyed the entire air force of Syria, including all aircrafts, which is MiG and Sukhoi. Again, Russian aircrafts. We call it Syrian Air Force, but ultimately it's Russian Air Force, okay? All helicopters and all anti-aircraft systems Israel destroyed. Also, the Center of Scientific Research, which is the Chemical Weapons Development Center in Damascus, which is huge. That's exactly what Assad has used against his own citizens and against anybody who dared, right? So destroying this is a key measure. And I see people commenting, how dare Israel? Now, this is in agreement with the White House. This is supported by the White House, and I would dare to say supported by Turkey as well. So uncertainty now surrounds Russia's strategic bases in Syria after Assad's downfall, right? I reported they've been cut off from their Navy base, military base in Taras, right, or Tartus, and they started conducting sort of drills just to get rid of missiles so they don't go to the rebels. But following the collapse of Bashar al-Assad's regime in Syria, the future of Russia's strategic air and naval bases in Latakia and Tartus is uncertain. Rebel forces led by the Command of Military Operations Coalition and HTC, right, this HTS, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, this is the rebels, we call them HTS. acronym. Now they control these regions, though Russian military operations continue. While Russian forces have partially withdrawn, there are signs that Moscow may attempt to cut deals with former adversaries, including HTS, to secure continued access to these critical bases. The situation remains fluid as Russia navigates shifting alliances and attempts to maintain its regional influence amidst serious political transition. Now, it's also reported that Trump is now negotiating with Putin, right, in the background, and he tries to throw those Russian military bases in Syria as a part of incentive for Putin to negotiate with Ukraine. So again, I reported it last night. It's got confirmed. So kind of interesting how he connects both situations, which just a slippery slope. Now, U.S. is now considering, this is now Biden administration, lifting terror designation for main Syrian rebel group, right? Which I told you, 2012. Has been recognized as in 2020 as a terrorist organization. So now U.S. national security officials are debating whether the main Syrian rebel group, which played a leading role in overthrowing Bashar al-Assad's regime, has shifted away from its terrorist activities. The key question is whether the group, once designated as a terrorist organization, can actually change its ways. So let's see how this will play out. Certainly, we have today we have a briefing with National Security Council, and that's the question I first of all, want to have answer for. Now, ceasefire talks continue suddenly. So they were completely stopped between Israel and Hamas, but now since Al-Qaeda, since Hezbollah has been weakened, it also has this peace deal with Lebanon. Or has a peace deal with Israel regarding Lebanon. Now it's a good time to sort of rejuvenate those talks. And so the ceasefire talks aimed at ending the war in Gaza and securing the release of remaining hostages are making quiet progress. Now, this is according to mediators and officials. The developments follow the Israel-Hezbollah truce in Lebanon and growing pressure from Trump. So he is now in this mix to get this sort of peace deal. Now, my question is, same as with Ukraine, there is no such thing as ending the war in 24 hours. You can only end the war fast on somebody's or at somebody's expense. In Ukraine, it's at Ukraine's expense, freezing the conflict, giving up the territories that Russia unjustly occupies, and also creating this demilitarized zone, which is 800 kilometers, where Kyiv will be just in the middle of it. So then no conflict means no aid from the US, and Russia uses the time to kind of get the aid from at this point from Iran, from China, from North Korea, get more troops from North Korea, get their own troops, and then they can proceed, right? So it only benefits Russia at this point. Now, freezing the conflict as is with Gaza also would probably benefit Israel at this point, because frozen conflict, again, if you create demilitarized zone, aid will not flow into Gaza, so they're not having aid. Hezbollah is weakened, so their economy is in the toilet. So at this point, it just gives time for Netanyahu to wait until Trump comes in. And I reported on it based on the press releases and conference calls with Israelis that they're waiting on the bigger weapons, on long-range weapons from Trump, which he had promised for this type of peace deal. So again, I'm just explaining sort of the conversation here. Okay, you guys are talking about the... okay, so Sarah says they're doing a good, clever PR campaign. HTS also promising protection to minorities. Yes, and meanwhile, they have been killing yesterday Kurds because HTS is supported by Turkey. Turkey and Kurds are very much not friends within Syria. And so they want to sort of eliminate them, so to speak. And they've been fighting with them yesterday. Hence, I reached out to journalists who cover Kurdistan and, Kurds to speak out and say. And also yesterday, our Department of State has issued a statement. And also President Biden talking to Turkish president, also our Minister of Defense or Secretary of Defense, Austin, also talking to his equivalent in Turkey. Blinken talked to his equivalent in Turkey asking to respect minorities. And so HTS can say yes. What they're going to do is another question, right? Saying is one thing, doing is another. Now they are at the power. They are being reached out to. They were persona non grata, so to speak, terrorist organization. Now they won, and everybody wants to deal with them. So certainly now they are the king, and they will say yes to everybody. What they will be doing with absolute power, that's another question. Okay. All right. And the Kurds also hold the oil reserves. Exactly. Very good. Exactly. And also Syria is one of the most, with oil reserves, hence Russia's interest in it. Yeah. All righty. So in China, well, connected to China, as China's space activities now rapidly grow, because again, the International Space Station has only a few years to live. It's leaking oxygen because of Russians, hanging icons on the wall. Anyways, stupid story. But anyway, so China is creating its own space station. And now, as China's space activities rapidly grow, including a surge in satellite launches and the construction of this their space station, which is called Tiangong, the country is now increasingly is dependent on space-based systems for space situation awareness, which is SSA. Now, a report from China Aerospace Studies Institute highlights that China's limited global ground sensor network has led to a heavy reliance on space-based systems to monitor and manage its expanding presence in the orbit, meaning they rely on us to do what they want to do. And so, which is kind of limiting their scope of actions in space. Now, deep dive on that is in tonight's newsletter, so you can read out. Now, Pentagon is versus Doge. I shared it, I think, on Saturday, hence it didn't make it in any newsletter. I'll put it in tonight's newsletter. I was in a briefing with the general of Air Force, who's responsible for Indo-Pacific, and he spoke with Musk when he was at NDC, right before traveling to Paris for the Notre Dame Cathedral reopening. And the general said, and I put actual quotes on Blue Sky. I didn't put it on Twitter because on Blue Sky. And so I'll put it in tonight's newsletter as well. And he was saying that Musk does not understand what strategy, tactic, and winning actual war means, right? Doge wants to fire pilots because they believe that every single plane has to become a drone. And this is sort of the future, and everything will be controlled by SpaceX and the Starlink and all that kind of stuff. So they're trying to dive into Pentagon, divest from the production of B-21s, the new bombers, and also F-35s. Now, Musk started tweeting that F-35 is history. Those planes have to be eliminated. So they want to scratch the budget. Now, the budget for Pentagon goes from October till end of September, right, yearly. And so since Senate sort of postponed approving the budget, now Musk has a say, or Doge or whatever, has a say in the new budget. And, ultimately the general said, well, it's going to end up in Supreme Court pretty much. And then the fear is that Supreme Court will be deciding in favor of Trump, hence Musk. And so at the Reagan National Defense Forum, which was last week, defense startups like Palantir and Anduril praised Elon Musk's push for Department of Government efficiency, hoping it could break Pentagon bureaucracy and open up contracts. While some lawmakers, including Representative Adam Smith, see potential savings, others, like Senator Mark Kelly and Representative Don Bacon, caution that reforms could hurt defense capabilities and require congressional approval. The debate continues. Efficiency is key, but balancing cuts without sacrificing security is the challenge. So, to put it back into normal talk, they want to replace F-35s, the bombers, B-21s with drones. And those startups here, they have huge risk. Or in this idea, replacing human-operated machines with drones has a huge risk. Why? Because even if, and the general said, listen, to Musk, your cars are still bumping into parked cars. and your engineers probably work on that 24/7, and you still cannot achieve this type of safety. Now imagine in air, and imagine in air battle. Like, what are we even talking about? Drones are good and useful, and we see it in Ukraine, and US is investing in it and producing drones, but it cannot certainly replace humans with strategy and tactic, right? And also another problem is that if drones were to be, hacked, it has a huge cybersecurity threat with it. If they were hacked and turned against US, then we're in totally different, game. Palantir is Peter Thiel. Okay, Sarah, thank you. Okay, let me check that for tonight's live stream because I want to dive into that. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much for this. So if Peter Thiel is investor here, then it's just a freaking billionaire takeover. I cannot, this is summarizes my AM news, PM news, whatever you want to talk about. From within, billionaire takeover, where they try to dismantle every single part of our government and monetize it in pieces. Let's hope it doesn't work. So, new monopoly power. Omnicom is set to acquire Interpublic Group in $13.25 billion deal, creating the world's largest ad agency. So this is a huge monopoly. So all the ads will be pretty much created, paid for, and driven by one company. And why does it matter? Because ads can also be part of propaganda. Because why? Ads bring money to TV stations. That's how TV stations, newspapers survive, right? Ads-based. So, with this in mind, Omnicom announced it will acquire rival Interpublic Group for $13.25 billion, creating the largest advertising agency in the world. The combined entity, with clients including Apple, Chanel, Disney, Mattel, Johnson & Johnson, could generate $25 billion in revenue based on their 2023 earnings. As tech companies like Google and Amazon take a larger share of the market, traditional agencies have pivoted to digital and AI to remain competitive. Now, Omnicom has already integrated AI tools into its operations using generative AI for tasks like realistic car visuals and faster ad translations. Now, despite potential antitrust concerns, Omnicom CEO John Wren expressed confidence that the new administration would be more friendly to business and approve the merger. So Biden administration is not approving this because it will create a complete monopoly in the advertising market. They're counting on Trump to approve that, and then certainly there will be, hence the messaging and advertising, right? And also where they will place the advertisement, right? It's very easy to get rid of TV stations that you don't like by divesting the ads, right? You take away the budget. So for this reason, interesting. Now, sticking with AI, so OpenAI launched Sora Turbo for video generation despite limitations. So OpenAI has released an updated version of its video generation tool. So Sora Turbo, this is ChatGPT Plus and Pro subscribers, another option that is added to the services. Sora Turbo allows users to input a text prompt, which the tool then uses to generate a high-resolution video clip of up to 20 seconds. So essentially, you can write a script, put together what type of actors you want to have, and it generates a movie, right? Now it's 20 seconds, but then. While OpenAI acknowledges that the tool has many limitations, it decided to release it to give society time to explore its possibilities. Now, the demo of Sora earlier this year caused Tyler Perry to pause his plans for an $800 million studio, like the film studio expansion, highlighting the tool's potential impact on the entertainment industry. So essentially, if movies will be replaced by, cartoons certainly will be replaced. But at this point, it's very interesting how this will develop. And again, why is it allowed? And to sort of continue on a good note, you probably have heard of Operation Christmas Drop. There's many movies about it. So the U.S. Air Force has kicked off the 73rd annual Operation Christmas Drop, a long-running humanitarian mission that involves delivering supplies to remote islands across the Pacific. So the C-130J aircraft from Yokota Air Base in Japan, they are dropping crates of food, medical equipment, toys, and other essentials to islands such as Palau and Kapingamarangi. This year's operation, which runs until December 16th, includes at least 220 packages delivered to 60 islands with support from international partners like Australia, Canada, Japan, and South Korea. And you can see the happy people here. The mission also offers valuable training opportunities for U.S. air crews and strengthens ties with participating nations. So that's about the good news. And that's it for this morning. I have a good clip, speaking of Christmas. Sarah says, regarding AI, for perspective, 20-30 seconds is the duration of a TV ad. Exactly. So for this reason, yes, it makes sense for ad agencies, in order not to die alone, to get together, create monopoly, and compete against AI. But then again, AI is majorly run by Musk's friends. Now, if Doge Department and Trump administration altogether allow the monopoly in ad business to continue, then they also have a say. So pretty much ads and ad business, whether AI or humans generated, will be pro-Trump. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so on a good note, this young lady, she made my day this morning. I was scrolling through TikTok, and this is a woman. She's a Grandma Droniak on TikTok, and she spoke about gifts and presents for Christmas. So let's finish up on something that's actually cute and funny.
Just because I'm a grandma doesn't mean I just want grandma gifts. Get better gifts. Don't give me another calendar. I don't know how long I have left, and I don't care what day it is. T, I'm in a nursing home. Give me something harder. And I'm not talking about hard candies. And stop giving me sweaters. I'm not cold. I am hot. And you know it. You need to do better. I'll tell you what you can do. Get over to Pinterest. This is giving me life. I will be kissing up a storm with that. Oh, these gifts know how to party. I want a chill pill, not a blood pressure pill. I might slay too hard in this. These gifts ate it up, and I can shop from here. Every gift here is a serve.
Every gift is a serve. Yes. And Sarah, thank you so much for pointing this out. Please like the video before you leave. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Sarah, for adding your voice to this conversation. Everybody, Lisa, Rosie Marie, Brandon, Maurice. Yes, hello, Maurice. Yes, good morning. Who else? Alexander, yes, thank you guys so much for adding your voice. I will see you tonight for the actual news. I think we're gonna have some good news. Well, we have some updates, to put it this way. Brandon says, that looks like something my grandma would do. See yeah, it's very good. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me. See you tonight for the actual news at 9 p.m. Again, I'm going to join my Medicare, Medicaid updates, hence, which was the reason for the audio mismatch. So apologies for that. And then we have the briefings by the National Security Council. So I guess tonight I'm going to have some things to share. All right. Have a great day. Keep your head on a swivel. Be like this grandma, hot, and you know it, and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Go knock it out. See you tonight.